Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for hopping in. If you can hear me, please type in the Q&A and let me know if you can hear and see me, and then we'll get started here in just a minute or two. Thank you for that, Amanda. Thanks, Stephen. Also, happy birthday. I know your birthday just passed, so happy birthday to you. Barbara, good morning. Jonathan, Justin, Seth, Todd, good morning. Thanks for hopping on. And Andrea, good morning. We're gonna get started here in just another minute or two. Just let a couple more people in here, and then we will get right into it. Got some note takers in here, including my own. Alexander, good morning. For those who have not been on a webinar yet, if you go to our website, clickrush.io, and you go to the webinar section, you can catch all our past webinars as well. Today, we are going to be talking about text and email marketing and how you can convert your leads at a higher rate. So this is going to be a fun one. We're going to be talking about concepts. We're going to be talking about structure. We're going to be talking about buyer tech psychology, excuse me. Um, and then we're also throwing in today a training on how to build your first cold email campaigns if you sell commercial insurance. So that's going to be a fun one. That'll be a quick, easy kind of way to cap off the training. But if you, just a quick show of hands, how many people in here actually sell commercial? If you don't mind, just let me know in the Q&A. Stephen raised his hand. All right, cool. Even if you don't sell commercial, it's okay. There's still plenty of uses for cold email campaigns. But this is, the premise of this training is that you can take the leads you already have and are already generating and convert those at a higher rate. I think we kind of realized that in 2026, people get ghosted. I get ghosted all the time. Like, it's difficult to get people back on the phone once you get them the first time. It's difficult to get them to respond to emails, to text messages, all those things. So this is just going to give you a higher percentage of people who are going to respond. So I'm actually going to share my screen. Joe Camper, my guy, good morning. And we're going to get started here right now. Hold on one second. I have to turn off my Facebook. I was getting a phone call just now. All right, share my screen and we will get into this. Actually, let's not maximize this. All right. Can everyone see can everyone see my screen here? Just quick. Starting to get involved with it. Jonathan Shaw, We Will Be Seth. Alexander just sold my first HAB policy. Looking to get more into it myself. Looks good here. Let's get it. Perfect. All right. Love to see it. Love to see it. All right. So we're gonna get started here. All right. So, crafting killer email and text campaigns that convert leads. Like I said, we're going to be talking about like full psychology, buyer psychology, consumer psychology, text, um, the way to format it properly, all those good things. So, part one, we're going to talk about just the roadmap of what this training is going to cover. Um, so, we're going to talk about like why leads don't convert, and just to give a front, very open and transparent answer. A lot of times it's not the lead source. We like to blame leads and say that leads suck, but it's rarely the lead source. A lot of times it's just the way that we position ourselves on the front end, and we're going to talk about that a lot today. So we're going to talk about the psychology behind replies, clicks, and book calls. So we're going to talk about the two types of systems that we have, which are nurturing for business to consumer and then business to business, and then cold outbound, which we'll talk about at the end. So, the real conversion problem. Most agencies follow up like a vendor and not a guide. And what that means is we need to do a better job of being able to put people through a process that they understand the journey, right? It's like storytelling. Um, Vendors are like salespeople, right? Like they're trying to sell and make their commission and they want to get you in, and that's it. And so you need to be able to kind of give them a path. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how speed matters, but sequencing matters more, right? We all know if you purchase any type of like internet leads from lead vendors, um, the main saying is speed to lead, right? The first one to get to it is the one that gets the client. Everyone else after that gets ghosted. Speed does matter, but to warm up old leads, warm leads, dead leads, new leads that you haven't got to yet, sequencing is more important, right? Because you don't want to overpower people where they feel like you're spam, but you don't want to not send enough messages where they feel like you've disappeared. And so the goal is to turn a quote request into decision momentum. So trust is the currency, right? People buy certainty, not information. So they want to be certain that what they're talking about, what they're looking for, who they're talking to, that they're for certain comfortable knowing that they're going to get what they're looking for. So information's great, but if they're not certain about that information, then the information is deemed irrelevant, right? Every message that you send, and this is one of the most true things, right? Every message that you send, whether email or text, it's either going to increase your trust with that person or it's going to create friction. So think about like email marketing, right? Like when you're getting email blasts from companies, you either when you see it come in, get excited and you're like, I want to read this, or you're like, these people are annoying and I'm going to unsubscribe. And hardly ever is there like an in between. It's either one or the other. So keep that in mind, right? That you're either increasing trust or you're creating friction. Consistency beats cleverness over 30 days, right? Uh, you have to be consistent, but you need to be smart about the way that you structure your campaigns for both email and text. You should have three jobs for every message that you put together. So, first one is reducing uncertainty. So, what's going to happen next? Second is increasing the belief that you are the right choice for that consumer. And then the last part is creating action, um, which is one clear next step. Okay. And let me just say real quick that um, if you guys do have Q&A or anything like that, um, I do want to let you know I am the only one running this webinar right now. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring someone to help me with hosting. So if you do have questions, I'll get to it. I might not see it immediately because I don't get a notification on it. I am sharing my screen. But if you do have choices, put them in the Q&A and then I'll stop periodically to kind of check and make sure that there's nothing in there. And if there is, we'll make sure we get those questions answered. So yeah, so those are the three jobs. You want to reduce uncertainty and explain what happens next. You want to increase the belief that you are the right choice, and you want to create action on what the next clear step is in the process, right? And you should have that laid out. If you don't, then start building it out. So this is the psychology stack with emails and texts, right? Number one, you want to prove that you're the authority, that you've been able to do this at scale, right? So how can you do that? Talk about how many people you've helped in a similar situation, right? If you have a book of business that has 2,200 clients, mention that. Don't be afraid to pat yourself on the back when you're talking about it because that gives you authority, and authority is what builds trust, right? And so you've done this at scale. Give social proof, right? If you're sending out a text message to your monoline book of auto clients and you're trying to get home insurance. And so you're sending a email campaign out and a text campaign to all your auto clients that don't have home so that you can get home quotes. Talk about how many clients on your book that you have that do have home insurance with you. I have 1,400 clients who are just like you. They're homeowners who are looking to save money on home insurance, and they don't look at it because they have their, their insurance tied into their mortgage pays for it, so you don't have to see it physically come out of your hand each month as a separate payment like you do with car insurance. And so a lot of times it goes unknown that, your insurance has gone up, right? Speak to the problem, speak to what the issue is that that consumer may be facing that would, one, you've already created the authority, you give the social proof of through your own book of business and your client base, and then give clarity on what the next step is. Cool. You're a homeowner. We have 2,200 clients. We have, 1,300 who are just like you, who are homeowners and are trying to save money. And they've had this issue that they didn't know their insurance was going up because of the way that home insurance is structured with mortgages. And what we can do for you is go through, we could look at your policy that you have in force. We can check it against all, the homeowners insurance carriers, all the major carriers that exist in the state and make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck. And if not, we can make the process super, super easy to save you money, right? That's an easy email campaign that you should be sending out as a monoline campaign to your book of business. And that's going to generate you a ton of money, right? Depending on how many clients you have that are monoline. So um, that's a psych sec. Now, the buyer brain in 10 seconds, just to keep it quick, people scan for relevance before reading. Okay. So what that means is before they read your entire long ass email or text message or whatever it is that you're sending, they're scanning for keywords, right? Their brain is quickly scanning the email to see if there's anything worth them taking the time and effort to actually read the entire thing. So what I like to do to actually give relevance, right? Obviously, we want to make sure we're sending the right campaigns to the right people in a segmented list. But what I do is I will take all the trigger keywords that would make them interested and I put them in bold font. So if you're talking about home insurance, you could put the words in bold, save money, very quick, quick quotes, homeowners, right? Just all the keywords that might trigger them to say, yeah, this is me and this is what I'm looking for. And then they'll read the entire thing. So people scan for relevance before reading. So make sure that you're putting those keywords in bold without overdoing it, right? You just want to put a handful of really important ones. So when they scan it, that's the first thing their eyes are attracted to. Next, they respond to specificity, and I'm probably gonna like tongue twist myself and tongue tie myself on the word specificity because I put it in here like 3 times and I always get it wrong. They respond to specificity, not general value. Okay. And then this is for me beats this is good, right? You want to make every person feel like it's specific to them. This is why segmentation and being able to get people to scan for relevance makes it feel like it's for them. And so we'll talk a little bit more about segmentation in a little bit, but I want you guys to just realize like these are little things that you can do when you're crafting your campaigns on email and text. You can't put bold font on text, but on email campaigns you can, which helps with the scanning for relevance. These are things you could do to help increase your response rates. So why do leads ghost? I don't have the full answer to crack this because I still get ghosted on, which is interesting, but not as much as I used to. Um, People request information, not commitment, right? And so I have to remind myself that they request information, not commitment. And so we can do things on the front end, right? And this is why like some of my clients are in this call right now, some of you aren't. But when you're looking at advertising and you're looking at purchasing leads and you're looking at all these things, it's so important to control the messaging on the front end of the buyer journey, which is your ad, so that by the time that they get to you, the message has already been repeated. And so instead of them requesting info, you're putting them through a journey that you control, right? Which is why you have the ads, you have the email, the text sequencing, right? And the message stays consistent throughout. It's important to do that. Um, Leads also goes because they're shopping, distracted, or skeptical, right? Obviously, we don't want too many shoppers. If we do, we want to get it at an exclusive rate where we are the only person, if they are shopping, that they're talking to. And so when you purchase from a lead vendor, a lead, obviously that's going to be sold to three, four, five agents. And not only that, even if you purchase it as like an exclusive lead, they're going to sell it as an aged lead in 30 to 60 days. So that's just one way just to think about it. And then the last part is that your sequence should create micro commitments, just getting them to commit to the next step. And so we'll talk about some of those things as well. I'm going to check the video real quick and see if we have any questions so far. Doesn't look like we do. So we'll continue. All right. So message match, add, landing, follow up. That is the sequence that happens no matter what. Anytime a lead is produced, whether it's you producing it through an ad or someone else producing it and you purchasing it, that's still the sequence that they're going through. And so it's important that one, you repeat the process, you repeat the same promise in the first follow-up. Now, this is why purchasing leads is harder than generating your own because you don't control the messaging on the ad or the landing page. You just receive it at the end of that journey, and you don't even know what the first two steps of it were. I was talking to an agent yesterday. She was purchasing leads from some, I don't even know who it was, and she knew what the messaging was. And when she found out about it, it was them making a promise on the ad that they could get insurance for $30 a month. Now it's 2026. It's probably a eighth of 1% of people on the planet Earth who have insurance for $30 a month for car insurance. So it's a terrible messaging on the ad side. And what you're doing is by the time that they get to you as the agent, if that is the messaging that's going out on the ad, you've already lost their trust by the time they get to you. Because once you quote them and give them that price and it's so much higher than what your ad says, you're screwed. So being in control of all that, super, super important. But you want to make sure that like when you do have the ad, the landing page, and you're doing the follow-up, you want to make sure that messaging is consistent across. So keep the same language that they saw in the ad and remove new thinking that forces reevaluation. And so what that means is if I am running an ad to get people looking for car insurance and I create a landing page for dedicated to car insurance so that when they see the ad for car insurance and that's what they're looking for and the keywords are for car insurance, they land on a landing page that's talking about car insurance, they fill out the form, it gets to you, and then you talk to them, and now you're sending out email and texts about bundles and home insurance and life insurance. You're adding in new things that they weren't thinking about, which now is forcing them to reevaluate if they want to talk to you or deal with you, because that's not what they got to you from. So remove any new thinking that forces reevaluation. Now, the beauty about being able to run your own ads is that you can look and control that narrative. You can run ads, create landing pages, and control the messaging for each individual one to ensure that like everything is consistent across the board. So the follow-up speed rule, most people will tell you it's like get the lead in the first 60 seconds, but 0 to 5 minutes is going to be your maximum response window for the highest conversions. 15 to 60 minutes is still workable, but you need a better hook on email and text. And then if you get them at 24 hours or later, you're competing with everyone else. They've probably forgot about you and they've already moved on and searched elsewhere, right? Because we live in a day and age where everyone wants everything now and they don't want to wait. So 24 hours is like an eternity for someone waiting for information. So just keep that in mind. So you want to make sure that your offer is one sentence. And so a good way to do is just like what you do, who it's for, and what the outcome is. Now this is going to be geared more towards like cold outreach to dead leads, right? This isn't going to be for a hot lead that comes in, but this is going to be for like a cold lead that you've had, you maybe haven't spoken to in a year or so, or maybe never spoke to them. And so this is a good way to kind of re-engage leads that may not have been in contact with you before. So talk about what you do, who it's for, what the outcome is. Avoid process language like we provide insurance solutions, be specific, right? Um, and then make it measurable or tangible, right? Spend, you know, we could spend 10 minutes on a call, get a quote for you and save you, you know, uh, 8% with two guaranteed discounts that we offer, right? That's measurable. If you know you have a discount, let's say you have an auto pay discount that pays a 3% discount guaranteed, and then you have, I don't know, telematics that gives another 5% for the first 6 months guaranteed. That's 9%, right? Or 5% plus three, so 8%, right? You could talk about that. That's like, that's guaranteed. It's not telling a lie, right? It's measurable. 8% is a guaranteed number. Talk about it, right? If that's something that you're going to add on, use it to your advantage. There's only three call to actions that you need when you're building out any email or text. Book a call, reply with a number or keyword. Joe Campert's used this one a lot. We do this on social media all the time. I do it on cold emails. Works really, really good. Reply with a number or keyword, right? So what that means is like if I'm sending out a cold email, right? I do this a lot. We send out cold emails. We offer a free ranking report so that people can see how they rank online, how their business is ranking online for their website, their Google Business profile, locally, all that good stuff. To make it very easy for people to respond to it to get their marketing report, all we say is respond back with the word report, and we will get it started for you. And so we make it very easy. It's a very easy call to action. Reply with this keyword. And then they reply with it, and then we have everything we need to get that out to them. That's a good one, especially on social media as well. But it's great for cold email. And then the last one is confirming a time, which is the illusion of choice method. This is something I've taught for years and years and years. If you go on my YouTube channel or have been following me on Facebook for a while, you've probably heard me talk about it a million times. The illusion of choice is two predetermined options that you give so that they feel like they have the illusion of choice, but really it's two predetermined options that you have. So, perfect example, if you sell life insurance, right? I'm going to bring up the post here. Um, quick show of hands, right? If you sell life insurance, just raise your hand real quick. Seth, Steven, Amanda, Barbara, awesome, awesome. Jonathan, great. So one thing that you can do, all right, with this is when you're let's say you have a PNC book or you have a life book and you're maybe trying to get someone to sit down on a call with you. What I like to do is at the end of that call or at the end of that email, if I'm talking to, let's say, Justin, right? And I'm on a call with Justin. Maybe I don't close the business, but I want to talk to Justin again and make sure that he doesn't ghost me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, Justin, before I let you go, man, like it was great talking to you. You know, this is what we offer, blah, 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 blah. I have some time on Tuesday and Thursday, so we could kind of just touch back in on this. I have Tuesday at 10 o'clock and I have Thursday at 2 o'clock. What's a better time for you? I'm giving him the option to choose between Tuesday and 10 and Thursday at 2, but I'm not giving him the option to say no to meeting with me again. The illusion of choice method is the best way for you to continue to get appointments and ensure that they don't just dip out on you and just no show you forever. You're probably going to have upwards of a 90% show rate for when you use the illusion of choice method. And so what I do is, when I'm booking calls or getting people to get free reports, after I get them their report, they reply with the word, a report on a cold email. I send them the report, and then at the end of the report, when I send that email with the reports attached, I say, hey, let's connect so we can review these together. I have Monday at, 10 a.m. and I have Friday at 4 p.m. Which time works better to connect and review this? I give those two options. That's how I get them on the phone, right? Not everything has to be on the first time that you communicate, but it's a good option to keep in your back pocket when you want to get them on the phone for the first time or to get them back on the phone when you're already on a call with them. So super, super powerful. Make sure you guys are using that, especially if you sell life. Um, and this is, I don't know why I just went through this and didn't show this one because this is basically the same thing explaining it. You give two options that you control, they're predetermined. You're forcing a binary decision, not a maybe later, and you're increasing your reply rate without sounding pushy, right? You're giving an option. It doesn't sound pushy at all. Hey, let's meet on this day at this time or this day at this time. Which one do you want to choose? It's a really, really good way for you to get people on the phone. So the next step script. So for this, you want to acknowledge the request, right? You want to set the expectation of what happens next, and then ask the simplest possible question. This is just getting them onto the next step, right? Like just acknowledge them. You always want to acknowledge however the conversation's going, acknowledge how the other person feels, set the expectation of what's going to happen on that next call, right? So you use the illusion of choice method, you set the next call, they give you a date, they select it. Now set the expectation for what's going to happen on that call. So here's some SMS rules to keep you out of trouble. One, keep it conversational and short. Do not try to be a professional for everything. There's a time and a place for everything. Emails, keep it professional. Text, keep it conversational, right? Instead of saying, hello, Barbara, this is Victor reaching out to you from Insurance Solutions ABC 123, blah, 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 blah. Instead of saying, like, just be like, hey, Barbara, this is Vic with ClickRush. You just filled out a form. Like, keep it very conversational and short. And just what you want to do is you want to give them just enough for them to just reply to you. You don't need to give a full story. Once they start replying to you, they've already psychologically committed to conversation with you. They've already shown their cards and said, I'm going to talk to you, right? Because if they didn't want to talk to you, they wouldn't have responded at all and just ghosted you. And for a lot of people, that's like a safety net to just never respond. But once they respond, it's the floodgates are open for conversation. So keep it short, keep it conversational, one idea per text. You don't want to overload them with too many thoughts, too many ideas. If you're like me, if I see like there's more than 3 lines on a text message, chances are I'm probably just going to ignore it. I'm not going to read it. It's just too much. So make sure that you're keeping one idea per text, one call to action, and make sure you have your opt-out language in there. So make sure that you have like your unsubscribe option on there. Make sure you're compliant, right? Frequency discipline. Make sure you're not like overloading them with text messages. You don't want to be giving out multiple text messages a day unless it's them responding back to you. But if you're running a campaign, don't send daily text messages. That frequency is gonna drive them crazy. So here are some email rules that help you get opened emails. Your subject line is a promise, not a headline. Okay. So, like I said, we spoke earlier about like if you sell car insurance and you know that you have a 3% discount for auto pay and a 5% discount for telematics for the first 6 months, put that as the subject line because it's a guarantee that's like you can promise that if they take advantage of those, you know exactly um what the percentages are. So you can make that as a promise. I promise you that, we can save you at least 8% with these two discounts. That could be your subject line. That will get people to open up just to see what the rest of the email says. The first line of your email must feel personal and relevant, right? So make sure that you're using like um that you're customizing each email to have like their first name, right? Don't just put hello Justin, hello Victor, hello Barbara, right? Hello Andrea. Make sure that it's like their actual name. Make sure that like when you format, if you're using a system that formats based on the information you have in your CRM or your email, system, make sure you format it properly because the last thing you want it to say is like, hello, insert first name because you didn't format it correctly. And so now they know that it's an automated email. Um, and then skimmability wins. So write short paragraphs, bold letters used sparingly. Like I said, that is what is going to catch their attention is those bold letters. Don't abuse it. Just use it for the words that are going to matter the most. So here's a conversion ladder. Lead, reply, booked, showed, closed. We all know that. Optimize the next rung on the ladder, not the whole thing, right? So take it one step at a time. Try to track every step of the journey and track the metrics, open rates, response rates, reply rates, close rates, right? Try to track all that, and you'll be able to see where a drop off is occurring so that you can fix those things. And there's some pretty cool email tools that you could do on the email side that will give you that data automatically. And we'll talk about that at the end on the cold email campaigns. So segment before you send. Segment your list. Segment your list. Segment your list. Do not send a email blast to all the new leads that you have with all the old leads that you have with all your ex clients. Segment those lists so that you can personalize the conversation. If you're talking to ex clients, talk to them about being an ex client with you. Here is the 5 message day zero conversion burst. Number one, confirmation and expectation, right? So what I like to do is, especially with new leads, when and I actually was contracted years ago to work with a CRM company to build out their email and text campaigns because the email and text campaigns I had on my own agency were so good and we had done like so well percentage wise with open response rates, closing rates, all that stuff that the owner of the CRM company asked me to build it out for all the agents that use the CRM. I start like it's so simple. When I either develop or purchase a new lead as soon as it comes into my system, typically you should have enough information to already get them a quote. Literally, all I say is, we got your information to, to get you the car insurance quote that you requested. Do you prefer we send that via email or text? Now, I might still need information to get them their quote, but I'm not looking for that. I'm just looking to confirm the information I have and get them to respond back. And they're setting the expectation of where they want to be communicated with. Do they want me to email them the quote? Do they want me to text the quote over to them? They're giving me their preferred method of communication. That's super, super valuable. Number two, value-based credibility. Number three, give social proof and a case example. Number four, objection killer. Preempt the most common, not sure yet response. Number five, give a clear booking push, a call to option with two time options, right? The illusion of choice method. So some of these take time, right? Like you want to build out a system where they're hearing from you consistently and that there's a structure to it where they're not feeling like they're being pushed upon or anything like that. So let me just check. Do we have any questions? I don't see anything in here. Okay, so we will continue. And I apologize if I'm a little short breath. I am still getting over whatever sickness has been going around, and I have three kids, so bear with me. All right, 14-day nurture structure. Give three teaching moments, educate and position your expertise. This is good for email campaigns. Give three proof moments, so results, case studies, named archetypes, and then three action moments. Give a book now and a soft check-in throughout. The 30-day relationship builder. Okay. So you want to rotate the type of content that you put out, especially on email campaigns with like leads. You want to rotate between stories, giving out tips, giving proof, and making offers, right? And switch it up. Don't, every single email from you can't just be the same thing over and over and over. If you're only sending emails with tips, at some point there's going to be tip fatigue, and they're not going to want to continue to read your emails, and then they're just going to unsubscribe or report spam. Repetition is a feature, it's not a bug. People look at repetition as if it's like a bad thing. It's okay to have repetition, right? Trust compounds with consistent presence. How are they going to know about you and learn about you and trust you and like you if you're not in front of them enough times? Email and text campaigns are built to be another way for you to get in front of people so you can build that trust. So don't look at it like it's a bad thing. We talk ourselves out of putting too much communication out because we don't want to be an issue with people. It's mostly in our own heads. And then when your voice stays consistent, people start to lean in. So just stay consistent, right? Like don't overdo it. Don't email every day, don't text every day, but do it once every 3 days. Like send an email out. Just enough when they start forgetting about you, you just pop back in. That's where you want to be. So the story framework that converts. So stories are great. People love a good story. I have that for all my ads, for all my content. Like I try to put stories into almost everything that I do because people like to hear stories, right? They want to hear what happens at the end or what the result is, whatever the case may be. So here's some ways that you can create a framework that converts using stories. One, mirror their current situation. So look at what the average consumer is and mirror their current situation. So you can start off with like, here's what most people do. You can make the pain real and specific by saying like, here's what it costs them. And then you finish it with like positioning your solution as what's obvious. And here's a simple fix. That's the framework. Here's what most people do. Here's what it costs them. Here's the simple fix. It's a simple framework for you guys that can crush. So proof without sounding salesy. So give before and after metrics. So how many items, calls, quotes, renewals, name archetypes instead of real names. So like farmers agency, Allstate agency, blah, blah, blah. right? And then show the path, not just the outcome. The how matters to buyers, right? They want to know how they're going to get there, not just like what the end result is. A lot of people care more about the process than they do about the outcome, which sounds absolutely ridiculous, but you'd be surprised. Trust me, you'd be surprised how many people don't care about the outcome. They just care about the path. So this is just good. Share metrics with people, like, you know, um, I wouldn't be afraid to share like how many clients you have, like we said earlier, how many homeowners you help, like just make sure that it's relevant to who it is that you're talking to. So here's the objection catalog that's like most common. The objection, I'm just shopping. Acknowledge that they're comparing prices, and then differentiate on speed or on service, or that you can just do all the shopping for them, right? If you're independent, and you have multiple carriers. Cool, perfect. It's great that you're shopping. I can actually do that for you. I have all the carriers you're looking for. If they say I already have an agent, just respect their current agent and then offer a second opinion or an audit. Listen, guys, one thing I can't stand personally is when agents shit on other companies or other agents. You don't need to do that to win. Remember, the way that you speak is how other people are going to view you. So if you're trash talking other companies, that's like not a great look on you to trash other companies because you're trying to earn business. That says a lot about who you are as a person if you have to trash your competitor to earn business for yourself. And some people have no care in the world. They don't give a shit because they're greedy. Don't be that person. You can respect whoever the current agent is. You can respect the other company and just talk highly about what you have and what you do and what makes you, better and what you do really well. And that's all you need to win business. If you have to down talk other people to try to rise yourself up, not a good look. Um, all right, so I'll do it later. I'm too busy right now, blah, blah, blah. Listen, anytime that someone says I'm too busy or I have another call or my favorite, I'm at the doctor's office right now. I'm walking into the doctor. Everyone says the same shit. We've all heard it. 90% of the time, 95% of the time, it's bullshit. So just reduce the ask and just say, yeah, that's perfectly fine. I understand. This is actually going to be really, really quick. All I need is like 5 minutes of your time, 10 minutes of your time, whatever. Because I guarantee you that the second that you start getting into the conversation, if you're doing a good job of intriguing them, if you're doing a good job of saving them money, if you're doing a good job of just having a good talk, you might end up still going 40, 50, 60 minutes. I've had that happen before where people are like, I'm walking into the doctor's office. I only have 5 minutes, or I only have 2 minutes, or I have to get off the call. And then they end up spending an hour and a half, 2 hours on the phone with me. And I'm like, yeah, clearly you didn't, right? Like, so don't let those objections stop you from continuing on. And here's how you can overcome them. So here's some other objection replies that move forward. So validate. Never argue, never over explain, right? That makes you look defensive. Once you get defensive, you've already lost them. Reframe with a simple truth that shifts perspective, and then offer a low friction next step. Make yes easy, right? That's all we want to do. Check, see if we have any questions. Do we have any questions? Anyone? You guys all here with me? Okay. All right, so the two-step appointment lock. Number one, confirm interest. Now, I'm not going to lie, this is a little bit hypocritical of me to put this in here because I actually teach the opposite. So I don't know, now that I'm looking back, I don't know if I want you guys to actually do this, but it's respectful for you to say, does this make sense for you? Right? But this would be at the end of making an offer. So you've already spoke, right? Now, typically, I actually I have what's called like the opt-out method. And so, or the removal of opt-out method, if you've listened to me long enough, where it's like anytime that you give someone the option to say no, you just remove that from your talk path so that they never have the option to say no. It continues the conversation forward. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you've already had the conversation and then you end with, does this make sense for you? Now you're going to get a good, um, an understanding if they're actually interested in what you're trying to offer or whatever. So I'm okay with that. If you're selling insurance, maybe you don't want to ask that. I'll leave that up to you. And then the last one is just the illusion of choice method. Just offer two options to confirm time with them. So once you do that, it reduces a back and forth, and you just have a simple reply on them. So that's good for communication that you've had going on. So booking page optimization for quick wins. Remove extra form fields. Every field you add reduces conversions. Anything above 5 fields of information, your bounce rate's going to be like 98%. And bounce rate just means people are going to bounce off your page and not complete it. So your your sweet spot is between 3 and 5 fields on your forms for booking. And typically those three, like three of them are always going to be taken up, which is name, email, phone. And then that leaves you with two questions that you can ask before your bounce rate goes haywire. So keep it between 3 and 5, no more than 5. Once you get past 5, your bounce rate is going to go through the roof. Show what happens on a call. So on booking pages, one of the best things that you could do, and my coach that I work with has been trying to get me to do this, and he's shown me the numbers, and a lot of some of the top like marketers do this on their booking pages. They show what happens on the call before they actually sit with you, and they do it via embedded video. So on their booking page, they embed a video of them explaining what happens on the call. And that helps give more confidence going into the call. It reduces the unknown and it gives you a much higher booking rate. And it's probably going to be a much easier sales call because they've already kind of been prepped for it by that video. So that's something that I'm working on actually building out. As you can see behind me, I have a soft light. I have my camera I haven't used that in forever. Super, super excited to start filming more content. So, one of the things I'm working on is adding that video onto my booking page as well. And the last one is just add proof right next to the call to action. So put a testimonial, put a result, put a credential, things like that. Now, show rate psychology. People do not miss calls. They avoid awkwardness and uncertainty. If they are uncertain, they're not going to show up, right? Like any real professional who is a real like mature human, they're only missing calls if they don't want to talk to you, right? Like so, if it's once in a blue, people get overbooked and life happens. That's understandable. But some people consistently miss calls, and it's because there's some sort of uncertainty that's there for them that you didn't check that box for them. And so that's where you need to kind of go back and see where in the process you messed up so that you can fix it moving forward for other people. Pre-frame your calls so that they feel prepared and not put on the spot. And then add reminders that reduce anxiety, not just remind them of time, right? Um, something you could put is just like in those reminder emails, just put like some of the subtopics you may talk about, some of the things they may need, some of the things they can bring to the call to help actually, make the call better for you. That might be like, hey, if we're talking about life insurance, bring your life insurance policy. We'll go over that with you. We'll review it with you. Make sure that your beneficiaries are up to date. Make sure that your death benefit is still like relevant for you. We'll make sure that you have like everything on there that you need. Make sure your, waiver of premium is on there. Like make sure all the little that we check all the boxes for you, just bring, right? Prepping them for the call will reduce anxiety, not just like remind them of the time. Because if it's just a reminder, they might ignore it. This is the 24-hour confirmation sequence on those book calls. So, one, here's what we'll cover. Send a light agenda so they feel ready. One proof point plus expectation. One proof point plus one expectation. Keep it short. It'll build confidence in them because they're getting the proof and they're getting an expectation of what's going to happen on the call, which they've already received here. But when they get it a second time, now there's confidence and comfort because they've seen it twice and they know what to expect, which removes that doubt and uncertainty. And then if you can't make it here, reschedule here. It keeps the intent alive. It gives them a way to reschedule if they need to, but not cancel, right? I'd rather have someone reschedule than cancel because you guys know the most important asset that we all have is our time. So you want to make sure that people are respectful of their time, of their own time and of your time, and a reschedule is way better than cancellation. Now, if they cancel on the reschedule, now we're now we're talking about TNCing people. All right, the 1 hour show up sequence. So short SMS, confirm, give a simple instruction, no paragraphs, right? Everything with SMS, you want to keep it short, straight to the point, and keep it conversational. For email, you want to give a direct link, what to bring, remove the friction from the call, and then make it easy for them to say yes again. Put a one click to join call. So if you're having calls face to face, give them like an easy button, give them the link, right? Give them the Zoom link. Like I put on the email that got sent out to everyone. Make it easy for them to join the call. I actually prefer doing Google Meet and Zoom calls over doing a phone call. I like to see people face to face. I also like them to see my face. I like to make it easier for them to join. It's easy for them to just click and have it pop up than it is for them to have to manually dial every single phone number. So after a no-show, so here is the recovery script. This is a good one. Always assume positive intent. Obviously, most people most people are probably ghosting you because they don't want to talk to you. But in the event that someone like ghosts you because something happened, like you don't want to say anything off-putting to them because everyone else is, you know, just ghosting you for the sake of ghosting you. So always assume positive intent. Life happens. Don't punish them for it. Offer two new times immediately in the same message. Keep it low emotion, high clarity, no guilt, just a door back into a conversation with you. So here are the metrics that actually matter, and this is what you should be tracking. And like I said, we're going to talk about cold email. That'd be really quick. Now we're almost at the end here too, so you know we're getting to the end. Um, the metrics that actually matter: reply rate, email and text, booking rate, how many people actually book from the replies, and then show rate, how many people actually show up. And then I put show rate plus close rate by source, but it's show rate and then it's close rate, right? Like from the people that show up, how many actually close. And that gives you numbers that you can actually work backwards to say, cool, how many people do I need to contact based on these percentages in order to get a close policy? And so if it takes, you know, 50% close rate and a 50% booking and a 50% show rate to get one new policy, just run the numbers backwards and that'll tell you exactly how many people you need to email out to at those percentages to get a new client every time. And if you want to add 5 new clients, 10 new clients, 100 new clients a month, you know exactly how many people you need to get into those sequences to be able to do that. So here is your 7-day implementation plan. Day one, I want you guys to map your stages and segment your lists. Monoline auto, monoline home, monoline life, and know exactly where your leads drop off. You don't need to have that lead drop off yet, because if you're just getting started, obviously you don't have the data to be able to do that. But just map your stages and segment your lists. Day 2 to 3, write your day 0 burst email and text and your 14-day nurture sequence. Start planning that out. We don't have to have everything done today. Just start planning for it. So day one, we're gonna map our stages, and then we're gonna create our segmented list. Day two and day three, we're just gonna create our day zero burst text and email campaigns and the 14-day nurture sequence for it. And then day four through seven, you're gonna automate, test, and refine it with real metrics. And so with that being said, we're going to talk about cold email campaigns with Coldlytics and Instantly.ai. This is going to be quick. It says I have another 17 slides. I am not going through 17 slides. We're going to give you everything right here in the next 5 minutes because to be honest, we don't need to go through those. This is very simple. Coldlytics is a data program that allows you to purchase live data and it's manually pulled by the team over at Coldlytics for any type of demographic that you're looking for in business. Okay, this is business data. Okay, so if you sell commercial insurance or you sell life insurance, but you sell it to teachers, you could go to Coldlytics and say, I need a list of every teacher in Texas, um, every teacher in Texas, right? Because that's who you do well with. That's who your niche is. That's who you sell to. Cool. They'll pull a list of every teacher in Texas, and then they'll verify all their information. So they'll get their emails, their LinkedIn profiles, um, their websites, all their contact information, right? Or maybe you work with electricians, right? Or you work with contractors. You can pull every contractor or every electrician or every plumber in Georgia, pull every single one of them. The Coldlytics team will manually pull the list of all those people that they have. They'll search for their emails, both work and personal, and they'll verify the emails to ensure that they're actually valid emails to keep you compliant. And then you have an awesome list. Phone number, business email, personal email if they can find it, website, like all the information you need, the business name, the business website, the LinkedIn profile, all that stuff. Coldlytics is awesome. They also have a version of Coldlytics where you can also pull that information. You just won't get the email, but you'll get the phone number so you could cold call. Um, but I like to use Coldlytics in order to pull my list of emails. And then I use Instantly.ai. Instantly.ai is it's a program for cold email marketing. So the biggest issue with email is no one wants to burn their domain sending out mass emails. I made that mistake on our personal email and we ended up in spam folders. And I think to some extent we still are in spam folders for some people. Um, but we were able to work our way out of it. It took a while. Um, but you never want to burn your own domain doing mass cold emails, especially when you're pulling lists, 5,000 people, 10,000 people, 20,000 people. And so Instantly has pre-warmed up domains that you can purchase, and each pre-warmed domain comes with like 5 emails. So it'll be like, you know, Amy at whatever the pre-warmed up domain is. So they buy the domain, they warm it up with warmed emails to get people to respond back to it so that it has positive response rates, which keeps them out of spam folders. They build it up for weeks and then they sell it to the users on Instantly, and you can purchase it with the 5 emails that come with it. And then you use those to email the Coldlytics list. So you upload the list of Coldlytics, then you send out your emails with the emails that you purchase. So it keeps your domain. Like for us, I don't want to use ClickRush.io, ClickRush.io email domain to email out to 10,000 cold emails. So I have like 50 emails that I've purchased through Instantly, and I send my cold email domains through them. And then what I do is I create my campaigns and I set them up on times. So, 200 emails a day from each email. And it's a 5 email campaign that goes out every 2 days. And then I can actually automate it where every time the filter of the leads that I put in, every time a new one pops into their system, it automatically adds it to the email campaign. So you can do that, especially if you're selling commercial and have that kind of just go out automatically. And it's not very expensive, to be honest. I think for Coldlytics, I think I pay $100 a month for it. And then when I want like pre-scraped, or pre-pulled uh, list made, when I want those custom lists pulled by their human touch and their team over at Coldlytics, it costs a little bit more, but it's worth it because you get really good data. And then instantly, I think I pay $100 a month for that as well. And then, you have one-off costs and for the domains. I think right now they're doing free domains. So all you're paying for is each email, which is like I think $5 a month or $10 a month. Um, and then you could just send out, hundreds, if not thousands of emails a month to the exact people that you have using these sequences to generate new opportunities for your business. Also, if you have dead leads in your system that haven't spoken to you in forever and you don't want to email them one by one out of your own system, pull that list of all those dead leads, throw them into Instantly, and send it from a different domain and warm them back up. It keeps your domain safe, gives you more opportunity to kind of reach it out, and you can verify all the leads just to make sure that you have good stuff in there. So that's what we have for today's training. Does anyone have any questions? Any questions? Throw it in the Q&A if you do. All right. So looks like no one has any questions. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys for hopping on today. I will have this entire webinar uploaded onto our website, clickrush.io, in the next 24 hours or so. You can check that out once it's on the website if you want to see the replay. If you want me to send you the slides from today's training, just shoot me a message, or you can type it in here or message me on Facebook and I'll send over the slides for your review. And then we will, I got you, Steven. I'll send you over those slides. Yeah, and then we'll have that. And like I said, it'll also be on the website within 24 hours as well for your review. So if you want to check back in, you can do that. If you have, um, if you want to build anything out, feel free to reach out to me. Like we'll help you out, getting your system set up and help you build out your campaigns so that you can get rolling with email and text. So um, I didn't talk too much about the CRMs and things like that because everyone has different CRMs that they use, and so I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. But I personally, with my team, we use Go High Level just because it has everything on there and it's only $97 a month and you have unlimited users. But some people have other stuff that they use. So whatever system you have, I'm sure you can build it out. I recommend using Instantly and Coldlytics for the cold email outreach. Um, but yeah, if you need any help from me or my team to kind of go in and help you like kind of maneuver around your systems or build out your systems, feel free to reach out to me and we'd love to talk. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll have the webinar up in the next 24 hours, and then we'll probably have the announcement for March's webinar up within the next 2 days. So I look forward to seeing all you guys on the next call. Seth, I'll send that over to you as well. Um, cool. All right. We will see you guys. Have a good one.